Right, polarising filters. Well, that's one. Got to be clean, of course. Don't get fingernails. Whoa, don't get fingerprints on it. It's going to help you a lot, getting deeper colours, getting nicer skies. You'll be amazed. Photographers go nowhere without them. So look and learn.
The polarising filter. Now this filters out polarised light from one direction. Well, that's the technical way. Now what does it do? Well, I'll show you. Here's a picture of my pond with some goldfish. Now, as I put that's without the polarising filter. Now, when I put the polarising filter on and turn it to the right angle, you'll see that the reflections of the plants disappear from the water, and I can see through the water and see the fish. Now, that's incredibly useful for an awful lot of uses. For example, seeing through windows, seeing through car windscreens, etc. But as we're not all spying on our neighbours, it can also be used, and is often used by pros, for getting reflections out of products they're shooting and things like that. But let's have a closer look at actually how it works. So I've put together a few items that demonstrate it. Now, starting without the filter, the hands on the watch are just visible. The background is dark grey, the colours on my advertising flyers is very bright and correctly exposed. Then we go to the same image, but this time with the polarising filter. The image at first gives the impression of being darker. Although when we look at the flyer, you can see it slightly lighter. The hands of the watch are now visible and the background darker. There's a lot of difference on the small remote, with it becoming darker, having taken away all the reflections. To get this effect, we must turn the filter as we look through the camera until reaching the desired effect. Let's have a look through a video camera now, see how it changes when we turn the filter. It's not quite as sharp due to the low light, but as you can see, the change as it rotates. It shakes a bit as well, but I'm a photographer, not a cameraman. Now you can, of course, turn this ring to whatever position you want. So you can have half a reflection, no reflection. Now all this depends on the angle of the light hitting the subject, so it's a little bit of trial and error to see how it works. So let's have a little on and off so we can actually see what happened. Okay, well I think that's enough. Now there is another use for polarising filters, and that's really to enhance colour. Because it takes out the glare, it's quite interesting to see what it does with blue skies, etc. Well, here's an example of quite a bad photograph. It's taken at the wrong time of day. I mean, the light is much too high, so making quite a bland image. Now, that's without the polarising filter. Now let's have a look at a shot taken 1 minute afterwards with a polarising filter. Now what it's done, of course, is darkened the sky because it's taken any glare out of the sky, and also taken reflections out of the leaves, so therefore making them a lot greener and a lot nicer in colour. It's generally made quite a pleasing image from what originally was actually quite a terrible image. Now, any location photographer will have a polarising filter in his bag. It's one of the really important tools for a professional photographer. Now there's one incredibly important thing you need to know, and that of course is that it acts like sunglasses, so it cuts down the light. If you're using a camera with an in-camera meter, then you've got no problem. It will account for it, but you might just have to up the ISO a little bit. If you're using a hand meter, then what I used to do was hold the filter over the meter and take a comparative reading with and without it, giving me the difference.
So that was it, all about polarising filters, not Polaroid filters. If you've enjoyed the lesson, look above my head and you'll see the word subscribe. It costs nothing. Just press that and I'll be able to inform you every time I put up a new video. You'll just get an email, that's all. Okay, cheers.